Is that one? I don't know what the orange one's called. There you go. No. So, you can have Batman as well. Batman and Flash. Don't flash, that's a bad thing to do. You don't flash. You don't flash. Flash! Ah! Hey guys, welcome to Gaming Console Tech. You'll notice I'm not in my room. No, I'm in his. I'm slightly jealous. As you guys know, I have a corner. And unfortunately, he has a complete front room full of games and stuff like that. So a bit jealous. Here. So, Craig, what is it? What we're doing? What?
Well, since the last time we've both collected quite a few of it. I'm just thinking we do a pickups.
That's fair.
See what else we've collected.
I've got a load here which I can show off, including something which.
And I do need to apologise. It has been a while.
I've been keeping him in the basement, chained up. I'm not going to say the next thing. It might come across as a bit weird. There was leather involved. There wasn't leather involved. Don't. Dirty-minded people, stop it. Anyway, right, I'll let you go first. What we got?
Right, I've got two new additions to my collection for the Xbox One.
One of which I love.
Two of which you love.
They're two. Technically, it's fused into one game.
It is fused into one game, but I'm saying two that you actually love. The first one being Shenmue 1 and 2. Right? I used to play number 1 on the Dreamcast when it first got released. Absolutely loved the game back then. And when I found out it was getting re-released on new graphics, I'm thinking to myself, And then Ash went and bought it for the PS4.
I did.
And I ran down the street with it in my hands.
Straight past his work with me screaming, "Get the hell off it!" By the way.
Yeah, I've never seen him run so fast.
It's actually worth noting as well. Shenmue 2, there's confusion with Shenmue 2, and it annoys me. And it's not the fact that, like, I'm not going to take umbrage at it or anything like that, it just annoys me. Now, I'm going to clear it up. Shenmue 2 was released on the Dreamcast in both the US and Europe. The problem was the fact that it was in Japanese.
Yep.
They didn't have time to translate it because the Dreamcast was basically on its arse and it was on its way out. So, Sega ported that version of the game, or shall I say improved that version of the game, for the Xbox. In general, when Microsoft wanted to kind of collaborate with big names, they did translate that version of it. Now, the problem with that was the fact that the game itself was meant to be a crossover. You were meant to be able to use Shenmue 1's save data for Shenmue 2. That never happened.
No.
Because they cancelled it out on both versions. That you can do with this. So, you can do that with it and it's awesome.
My second one is one that Ash is very jealous of, as I told him yesterday. And apparently he's going to nick it. I'd love to see him try. And that would be...
It's possible.
Mega Drive Classics. Right? I originally had a version of this for the Xbox 360 which only had 40 games on it. This now has 50. So it's got new games included on there, which is one of the ones you wanted to play.
Gunstar Heroes, because I did play it back in the day. It was a pain in the neck though, because it wasn't on my computer.
But they have taken some games away, like Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Being one of them. But I still say my favourite game to play on here was always Kid Chameleon.
Kid Chameleon.
I absolutely loved that game. I knew the shortcuts to get through the next levels as well.
I found Kid Chameleon a little kind of not complicated, but when I first played it,
it was a complex game.
It was, but when you first play it, obviously you've got to headbutt bricks, and the first thing you think of when you headbutt bricks is Mario. There we go. So let's move on to my two. Now, my two aren't games. Mine are Blu-rays, but one of them is gaming related.
Give you that one.
The other one that I've got, I'm showing because honestly, I have no idea what it is, but it's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it, so hey, why not? The first one is King's Glaive. Now, I hate the fact that it's a prequel. because every time I play the game, I feel like I need to watch this. But it is a good film in its own right. It does take a little bit to get into, but he's not seen it yet, so I'm going to punish him for a few hours with this, so that's going to be fun. So that was just not as... That came across as really kinky, did that?
Punishment.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? But we already knew that. Anyway, next one is Fast, and that just makes the kinky scenario even worse.
It doesn't matter!
Well, I'm not cooking anything. Please don't. Anyway,
I was.
If you got that reference, well done. The reason I picked up this is because I'm not going to lie, I did like him in Fast and Furious. But there have been films which I will not watch because of him. One of which being Jumanji. Kind of ruins my childhood.
You know what?
Completely.
The best film I ever thought I saw him in was Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy. Jesus.
Mate, he looks so fucking gay in that.
Didn't he get replaced by Gary the Cable? No, Larry the
Cable Guy.
Not Gary. Gary?
Larry the Cable Guy he got replaced by.
Terrible.
What a guy.
Your next two. Go for it.
My next two, it's a series of games that were released, and I've got to say they're still one of my favourite. Capcom did an amazing job with them. There is a new one that's actually coming out very soon, which I'm looking forward to. But this is the first trilogy, and you're probably going to know what it is already, but it is the Devil May Cry series. I absolutely love these games. These games were the pinnacle of what I'd say was a hack and slash. But it wasn't just hack and slash, though. There was a bit of puzzle in there as well, which always got me.
The second one's puzzles were a hell of a lot stranger because they took some real thinking to do. Whereas the first one, I'll admit, I played on easy the first time around because I thought it was going to be, a lot complicated. But playing it on difficult isn't that particularly hard. However,
it just takes you a longer time to get things done.
Yes.
Patience is a virtue.
It is. Is it worth noting as well? They actually got an HD remaster, which I actually own for the PS3. It was released on the 360 as well.
That's only because they had the Devil May Cry 4 out on those consoles as well.
Well, the interesting fact, it did actually start off as a spin-off to Resident Evil.
Yeah, it was.
It was first, obviously, Resident Evil kind of jump, and then it got changed to its own franchise, which is basically what happened to Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed. The same thing happened. It just evolved into its own franchise. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll go for mine. Now, mine... I'll do this one because I just... I'm a Sonic fan, screw it. Sega Superstars Tennis. I've played it before, I love it, it's brilliant, and I've got it.
That's all, folks.
I can't say much about it, can I?
That's all, folks.
It's Sonic.
Versus Tim Henman.
Oh, Serena Williams?
No, Serena's not on there.
We said Eggman looks like Tim. Wow,
No,
that's a comparison and a half.
I was thinking somebody Omega.
Somebody.
Eggman was Greg Rosetsky.
Terrible scenario. That was the door. We've got kids about, don't worry about it.
Oh yeah.
It's a locked door. Go, you.
Most people classify these as sports games. I found them absolutely freaking hilarious. It is a golf game.
I've only played one of them.
Right. Outlaw Golf 1 and 2. Right. The aspect of number 1, if you ever needed to get a perfect shot, was to beat the crap out of your caddy.
Yes.
Right. Whereas in number 2, you could either beat the crap out of your caddy or race your golf carts, which I thought was absolutely amazing.
Does anybody else's mind go to Jackass? Racing golf caddies?
Yes.
Didn't Johnny Knoxville nearly get knocked out?
Yes, they did. But my favourite character out of all of them had to have been Harley. The way she kicks the crap out of her husband / caddy was absolutely hilarious. There's not much more I can say about it, really.
I get beat up by my wife. You can tell. Look at all the bruises. I'm covered in. I won't show you my chest because
Hairy.
it's hair and it just looks horrible. Anyhow, moving on. Now, a franchise I never got into as a kid was Transformers. However, when Armada moved along, I ended up watching that on Sky One here in the UK when I was a kid. I say kid, teenager, late teenager. And this, to me, got me into Transformers. So I ended up buying the movies and TV shows and stuff like that, and I ended up loving them to bits. So I love something I missed out on, technically. But I ended up getting Transformers Devastation. Now, I've had this game twice, never completed it the first time round. However, I was pleasantly surprised because it does take note off the original series. It kind of runs a story which is the original series movie, but it changes it up enough to be a completely different entity. It's that simple. It is one of those games you think, I know what's going on, and then it'll just stick its middle finger up at you and boot you out the door. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah. But it is a really good game. If you don't have it, go and get it. And if you're a Transformers fan, what are you doing if you don't have it? Go and get it.
So the only thing about the Transformers the franchise was, if there was ever an episode without my favourite saying on there, then I'd be really disappointed.
Go on.
It's just Optimus Prime going, Autobots, roll out!
That's a hell of an impression, man.
Try it.
See, if I did that, it'd come out more squeaky, to be fair.
Transform.
It'd come out squeaky. I'd sound like Lee Evans that had been kicked in the nuts.
No, you sound like Starscream.
Possibly, actually. I'm shaking my head.
I'm sorry!
Yeah. Probably. Anyway, go
on. For me, this is, I'm going to say, it's not the first in the franchise, but it is my favourite. It pretty much was the pinnacle of any form of espionage game. And if you haven't got it by that already, it is. Don't get it. Metal Gear Solid.
See, I don't own that one. I own the one. I own number 2 for PS2.
Yes, so, yeah. For this one, I always found it a fantastic game. It was puzzling as well as being able to, it's one of your first ever, it's I'd say skillful games.
It is one of them that makes you think more than it should, I think. It's one of the reasons I didn't play it back in the day, because I wasn't a thinker back in the day.
Yes.
I was a shooter guy.
There's a part on there as well. You get up to a part where you're saving. If you haven't played the game anyway, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, and hopefully we're going to try and edit the spoiler alert up here somewhere, just to let you know. Exactly. You come up to a part. Shut up, you. You come up to a part where you're going against a psychic called Psycho Mantis, and you're trying to save your friend Meryl. And you can never seem to get past it. There is an easy way past it, and that is to switch your control pad from port 1 to port 2.
It completely screws him up, doesn't it?
Well, you can't read your mind.
No.
Apparently, changing control ports, no one can read your mind. But once you have done it, you do have to completely swap it back, otherwise it will turn around and say, there's no control port in control port 1.
There wasn't.
Well, exactly. But it doesn't let you continue the game in port 2.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was one of my best and most favourite games. And there was also a spin-off to it as well, wasn't there? The VR training.
Yes.
Which was basically, well, I used to play the demo of it as a kid, and then I bought the full game not long back. But there was a part on there you could do the tactical espionage under a VR training thing, where you're going against AI, even though it is AI anyway. But yeah, once you learn how to do that, then you can play the full game without having to look back.
Virtual reality on steroid. So, yeah.
Still going to say my favourite character though was Raven. This is Raven's territory.
Yeah, I am still yet to play Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. I've got that at home, which I still need to play. That's for 360, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up the PS3 though, for a strange reason. But anyway, I'll move on.
Revenge or Rising?
Oh no, Rising.
Rising was the one with the Raiden.
Metal Gear Rising, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Revengeance in there somewhere.
Nope.
I'll have to have a look when I get on. Unless that was a working title for it.
It was a working title and never actually got released. So
many different titles.
He meant Rising.
Now, my next one is pretty much a game that I didn't get on release because, well, there was too much other stuff that I wanted to buy for a start. But it's a game that didn't exactly jump out at me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because at the time we had basically things like Forza that I was too much engrossed in, because when I got Forza I was dragged in.
Forza's good.
It is. But the game in question is Infamous. Now, the only reason I picked this up is because there are a few games that have passed me by which I've currently played and they've left a really good mark. You know what I mean? You pass a game and you think, I don't like it. And then you buy it and then you go, actually that's pretty good.
See, I was exactly the same with the Uncharted.
Yeah. See, I played... I played Uncharted 1 when Uncharted 3 had just come out. And as soon as I played Uncharted 1, I was like, right, I'm getting the second one. I just went out and bought the second one. It's that simple. I just couldn't put it behind me. But this is one of those games. I've played through part of it and I literally got stuck in it. It was like part of my life. It just consumed me. So, yeah, Infamous. And I believe it's got, got Infamous Second Son as well, I think.
Yeah, Second Son.
Yeah. And then you've got a new one, which is on the Xbox One. So, yeah, there you go.
For me, going on racing games, this had to be the pinnacle of everyone's racing game life. One of everyone's favourites, and if they haven't played it, play it.
What are you doing? Just go, just finish the video, but go and get this after you've done it. Shift.
Most of you will be probably thinking, oh, it's Need for Speed Underground 2. Wrong.
Not necessarily. Don't assume. Told you it wasn't.
No. No, Most Wanted. The original Most Wanted, not the new one either. Right, the original. My favourite car on this had to have been the BMW at the end. Right, what a fantastic car. But I always had to choose a punter.
Yes.
Everyone's had to drive a punter at one stage in their life.
So
and you'll find out how rubbish it is.
It was the easiest car to control, but it was the hardest to upgrade.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's that simple.
But yeah, it was one of the first ones where you could actually have the police chasing you. And I liked the aspect of, if you need, just depending on how big your heat was, depends on how many police officers chasing you as well as the helicopters.
Yeah.
My longest way of trying to get away from them was about 2 hours. Because every corner was a new cop or I've blown my tyres out.
What used to piss me off about it is the fact that not that you'd be doing that for hours, but when in every race you can choose to knock something down and knock out, I don't know, an opponent's car or a police car. Don't ever do it when you're getting chased, because it won't hit the police cars. They'll just miraculously glide through it. It's like they become a ghost and just, that's it, go through it.
I was doing this to the point where I had to do a 180 and I got myself. Trapped myself within this broken building and the police got me.
Nice.
Yeah, it weren't.
The see on his face is not impressed. Anyway, moving on. Now, I'm going to be honest, Dead Island was not a game which interested me at all. It still isn't. However, I got this one and it impressed me. Mainly because of its art style. It is a weird art style. It's like, yeah, Escape Dead Island. Now, a lot of people have slaughtered it. They've just ripped it to pieces. And yes, technically it's not a Dead Island game. It just doesn't have the same mechanics and stuff. But it is pretty good. And it's in almost like a cel-shaded comic book style.
It's the same style as what the when Deep Silver took over Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
They've done it in exactly the same graphic style.
Yeah.
Right, and they've done exactly the same mechanics, because even when they came out with what was it, Agents of Mayhem?
Yeah.
That was in exactly the same style, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Agents of Mayhem, right? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved the fact they brought out the there was 3 Saints Row characters, and I've done this on a previous pickup before, but it was such a terrible game. I'm disappointed. Please give it back to THQ Nordic.
Yeah, which was needed, to be fair. But even though it's not a Dead Island game, technically, it is an alright game.
You might as well just give it the name of Telltale.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go. That's pretty much what that does.
Right, for I'd say my final game, hint hint, is one of my favourite in this franchise. And many people will turn around and tell me why, call me a dick and try and slap me. My favourite, Final Fantasy VIII.
See, mine's 9, so...
For me, it was more along the lines of the kind of sibling rivalry there was against Squall and Cypher.
Yeah.
Right?
Although
Two opposing people.
Yeah, that beginning cutscene where he
it's amazing.
blades his face pretty much.
Yeah, but they both get it in the end, don't they?
Exactly.
So, but it's to me, it's like they've kind of got like a sibling rivalry between each other, and throughout the story, it then breaks down into what has absolutely happened between them. The gaming aspect, I absolutely loved, always loved, turn-based, and it's just the GFs. I know they changed the name of them every game, but on this it's the GFs. For me, who is your favourite one?
It's always been Barmel. But Barmel is the pinnacle of an angry dragon. It will burn your ass, it will take you out, and whether you like it or not. In 9 it had 3 different incarnations.
See, this is the thing, that was probably one of the only ones, right, that was used across a majority of the games.
Yeah.
For me, right, as far as I know, Ifrit was only ever in 2.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been Ifrit.
Yeah.
Because he's literally a giant-sized lion/bull/dog who throws a massive ball of fire out of the sky just to hit your opponents, and you manage not to get burned.
He's basically an angry animal that throws his bollocks at you.
He's got a massive accuracy hit. Because if you can manage to hit your opponents, not you, with that massive fireball, then bloody hell.
True. Very true. Very true. But let's say, out of all of them, mine's 9, mainly because I loved 6. 6 was one of my favourite before 7, 8 and 9. But 9 went kind of back to that style.
It did.
That it still changed up the battle system and bits and pieces, but the style that it went with that kind of old medieval style, but with futuristic technology. It's a weird series, it really is. But, moving on, talking about RPGs, and we didn't tie this up, this wasn't intentional at all. It's not one of the best RPGs, but it isn't a good RPG. Now, Infinite Undiscovery. I'm going to say this now, it is not essentially what you think. It's not one that you will go into thinking, I can play it beautifully. However, the problem with it is it does take time for story to get through. And look at this. Why not? But it does take a lot for the story to get into. Now, that's not to say that it's not a good game. It's just one of those games that you will have to take time with. It's that simple. Now, what I will say, the battle system for me is not perfect, but it is pretty good.
Yeah.
It takes some cuts here and there, but it is pretty good. If you were to go for an easy RPG to run into, I'd go for Lost Odyssey. It has a deep story, its gameplay is solid, and it's also made by ex-senior staff of Square, and distributed by Square as well, which was even better. So, you've got that, and it's a beautiful game. Simple. All done.
Yeah.
There is one more pickup which I'm going to do.
I'm going to do one more as well if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
Right, this one, it's nothing to do with, well, it is something to do with video games, but it's not actually for a game. This has been hidden away behind my flash. The whole time. The Master Sword.
Da, 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 da.
actually weighs quite a lot.
It does. And the fact that I know where he got it from as well, so...
Right, this here
is,
I'd say, size accurate replica of the Master Sword. People, you may already have a copy of this. But if you can also see on the wall, just there, I have the cosplay version of it as well, with the shield.
The sword behind that one, I think you were saying was a foam one, weren't
you? Yeah, it's cosplay foam.
So,
and I've moved the camera. There we go. So
you get slaughtered by it, why not?
This was one of the best things I ever bought. The only thing is trying to find a resin shield cheap enough.
Yeah.
Is hard, and I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone has any ideas on where to get a cheap resin shield from, throw a comment below, and yeah, please do.
Aye. But the sheath is actually quite good as well. It's fairly weighted. All these bits are metal, so it's kind of like it's beautiful. So yeah, I'll let you put. Don't stab me. Don't stab me. Fucking trying to be clever, look. My next, well, I say next one pickup. One is a pickup, the other one is essentially a download because, yeah, you know I don't like downloads, but hey, screw it. However, Kirk. Anyway, I keep seeing this. Now, there are a whole series of these. This is basically, obviously, the blueprints for the original Enterprise. There is one for the NXL-1 from Enterprise. Obviously, Generations as well. And all its...
You've got the one for the Voyager as well.
Yeah, and this, I've been after for quite some time. However, I didn't want to pay through the nose for it, so I ended up finding it a bit cheaper. From, like you can say, $22.99 down to £6. So I picked that up and got that. Now, I'll not spend too much on that because it's not gaming related. However, this is. And that is, I'm going to reach back here. Now, you guys know I don't like digital downloads. I just don't. And I don't know. There's something about that I just don't like.
It's digital download. You can't hold it in your hand. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's that physical prowess. You grab something.
Awkward.
Yeah. Awkward, you say. But anyway,
I know.
I've been after the Mega Man collections, but at this time, they ended up releasing Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 together, and Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 together, which annoyed the crap out of me.
Yes.
But I ended up buying the first set of them, which I've got on there. There'll be a vid somewhere about. But this holds up to number 6 in all, and I'm so after the rest of them now. But I'm getting demolished on them because they are harder than I thought, or harder than I remember. Because I played the first one and the second one, completed them both back in the day, and I can't seem to do that now. What is it? You grow older and you...
Your thumbs feel like they've got arthritis, and so you're like...
But I just can't seem to get past them.
I think it's the way, because when you were younger, the control pads were a lot bigger. So with you playing it on a smaller console now, right, the control pads are smaller, so it's actually harder for you to actually remember which buttons to hit as well. Because I think you played it on the Sega originally. You're now playing it on a Nintendo, which the buttons are different, so that's how...
The first one I played was Mega Man The Wily Wars, which was a remake of the first and the second one.
Right.
Which was a pain in the neck, and then I actually played, on a friend's computer, ironically enough, the NES version of it. Of the first and second one. And the second one, I found easier. The first one, it kicked my ass.
Well, if that's the case, and you played it on the NES,
yeah,
right, then, yeah, you just shit.
I played the Mega Drive one first, technically.
Give you that one.
They are all the NES ones, so, you know, that's fine. But I think that is everything, isn't it?
That is everything I want to show today.
You know, everything we've wanted to put past you guys. So, there you have it. Another pickups video with this guy. Keep your eyes peeled. If you've noticed, there's a video that's gone up a day ago of something a little bit different. And it will become clear very soon. That was a horn. Hi! Apparently. That wasn't a horn. But anyway, there is something special coming up, and it'll all become clear on next week's video. So keep a lookout, and we'll see you again soon. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and happy gaming.
Happy days. Bye bye.
Why? Hey guys, if you like this video, why not subscribe for more great content?